Well, anyhow, my name is Mila Adams, and this is Shelley.
Hi.
We are second semester doc students here at Marymount University. We're going to be talking to you today about Adlerian interventions and techniques that promote self-esteem in school-age children. So without further ado, the purpose of this presentation is to basically give you an overview of the development of school-age children's self-esteem and their interpersonal skills and their effect on their self-concept and academic success. The study will attempt to address the following concerns, and that is: 1, does Adlerian interventions have a positive impact on self-esteem in school-age children? 2, how does the self-esteem influence children's overall development? And then 3, what impact does the parent role have on a children's self-esteem? So in terms of self-esteem, it really refers to the way we see and think about ourselves. It's a strong component, in fact, for children in terms of their developmental process. And it's also incorporates an individual's overall view of their self, their self-image, their self-concept, and also their social perceptions. With regard to strengths and weaknesses, particularly with regard to children, we can see that individual children, with a strong self-esteem, they're more likely to have success in achieving their life goals. This is reported by Halter from 1988, and while the source is dated, we can recognize just by working with children today that it's still relevant. It still resonates for children. And also for children who are experiencing high self-esteem, they also are able to meet certain challenges. They have an enhanced social interest. And on the contrary, for weaknesses, we can see that children who suffer from lower self-esteem, they may not succeed in meeting life tasks. They may withdraw socially, they may experience a state of depression, and in some cases, they have a weakened social interest. So in terms of treatment outcomes or interventions, we can look to Adlerian theory to sort of boost their self-esteem. And so we look at a couple of therapeutic interventions from Adler, and that's the adventure-based therapy, individual psychology, positive psychology, social interest intervention, training techniques within the classroom. And Shelley's actually going to talk to you more about that, so I'm going to turn it over to her. She's our Adlerian expert. Okay. I'm going to do this.
So Mila kind of went over the introduction of Adlerian therapy and some interventions that can help build or foster children's self-esteem. One of the interventions that Adlerian therapy actually does is something called adventure-based therapy. So what adventure-based therapy is, so basically what it is described as a wide collection of therapeutic experiences which ranges from trust walk to mountain climbing. So basically, when you're working with children in a classroom, you might have some kids that might isolate themselves. And so this is more like encouraging them to be a part of a group. So taking them outside of the classroom setting and, taking them outside to do stuff that includes everybody. And also part of this adventure-based therapy is like something like rock climbing. You kind of encourage each other to help one another to just help them succeed, basically. And so and that's what it states here. So the student is a participant in a therapy rather than a listener. So they're not just sitting on the outside just looking in. They are forced to participate. So that kind of also help them feel empowered. That helps them feel included in the community, and that ultimately boosts their self-esteem as well. Oh, thank you. So the guided training technique within the classroom, so this is when it's more like a collaborative effort to work with the teachers and the parents to help the child with their self-esteem. So in a classroom, the teachers will talk to the parents and ask them, what it is that we can do as a teacher to help your children, especially, the things that they need that they can do to build their self-esteem as well. So, so they will do some activities that, they're comfortable doing home based on the information that their parents are giving to them. And then the teachers will incorporate that into the classroom lessons. So, and then another treatment that has proven, or research has proven to be very very successful is the the individual psychology and the social interest intervention. So with the individual psychology, what research has done is usually with the Adlerian therapy, it was usually done on one person. And before it wasn't done on a group of people. So it was more like a case study base. So with this, they're saying that Lincoln League 2006 research is saying that kind of incorporating what has been done with a majority of people and seeing seeing the positive side of it can help with children's self-esteem as well. And positive psychology. So positive psychology, is very basic because the definition of that is subjective well-being, which includes positive affectivity, authenticity, love, compassion, forgiveness, altruism, and guided humility. So what positive, basically that's a definition. The positive psychology is kind of like encouraging the individuals to be kind and to be helpful. Just so they can succeed in their community as well. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with play therapy, and it's not just geared towards Adlerian therapy. Play therapy is widely used, in a lot of private practices and a lot of agencies. But for the purpose of this, for this research, we're focusing on that Adlerian play therapy, and it's not different from the play therapy that I don't know if you've known anyone who's actually gone through that process. So basically, you give the child some activities where the child feel comfortable expressing themselves. They actually build relationship with the therapist. That way, and that actually helped them build their self-esteem as well. And so we do have, okay, so the fourth distinctive phase of play therapy is, like I mentioned earlier, building a relationship with the child, exploring the lifestyle of the child, helping the child gain insight into his or her own lifestyle, and reorienting and re-educating the child as well. So this form of engaging the child is ultimately helping them, feel comfortable to be able to express themselves in a way that they're comfortable, sharing. So this is a quick video. It's not that quick, but I'll stop it. It's very basic. It's kind of talking about Adlerian therapy, and like I said, play therapy is widely done, but Adlerian play therapy is a little different. So I'll go ahead and play the video. So she's a therapist who's been doing play therapy for numerous of years, and she's just talking about her experience working with a child that she's been working with for quite a number of time. And she just basically explaining what she's found to be helpful.
The understanding of the child. And he also said that you have to consider people holistically, so you have to look at all of the parts of their lives and see how they interact with people at school, people at home, people in the neighborhood, all of those places. So one of the things that I spend a lot of time doing is looking at the child in various contexts. So I'll go and visit a school, or I'll go and talk to kids from the neighborhood sometimes.
So maybe life environment's important, family firstly, and then as they move out into the school,
Yeah.
and then even the community broad.
Right. And I also always look at the purposes of behavior. Adler said that all behavior has a purpose. So I spend a great deal of time in my therapy with the children thinking about the purposes of their behavior.
Like the way that they will play or the toys they choose?
The choices that they choose and how they play, how they interact with me, how they are in the playroom.
It's kind of like one big projective technique?
Yes, basically. That's what play therapy is.
In a minute, we're going to watch you work with a young 5-year-old boy, Joshua is his name. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that in light of what you've just been telling us and kind of set it up for our viewers.
Okay. Joshua lives with his grandmother right now, but his mother has kind of come back into his life, and he's living in 2 houses. So that's a struggle for him because he doesn't know where he belongs. He doesn't kind of know how he fits in each of those places. So when he came into the playroom, well, first of all,
So sure.
he decided he wasn't going to come, basically. He
He was
said,
going south and he was going north.
absolutely not, not doing this. And so I took the boys of puppets to try and engage him, and he got kind of feisty with one of them. I took a monkey and he just kind of backed the monkey. And one of the things that I make from that is that he's a kid who doesn't feel like he's in control of his life right now. And so those are the kinds of themes that we had in the session. One of the things you look at is for themes to play. And he was going to show me that I was not going to be the boss. And he did kind of over and over and over again. He also, though, showed me that he would take care of me and that he was concerned for me and those kinds of things. So it was a really kind of cool combination.
What are some things that our viewers should look for in this interview?
Well, one of the things is how he does express his need for being in more control. Even little kind of things.
Okay, sorry, I don't want to take too much time, but yeah, so, oh, whoops, sorry. So, so this is just a brief description of what play therapy is, just basically working with a child using, form of like toys to kind of engage the child, and that ultimately helps the child express himself and, helps build their self-esteem. So, as it was discussed earlier, Adlerian therapy, what Adler emphasized on is, allowing the individual to be a part of a community and not feel isolated. So, using some techniques such as encouragement, support, empowerment is one of the big things in Adlerian therapy in general. So some implications for counselors that can be, that is encouraged is to allow counselors to continue pushing for this type of activities. Like I mentioned earlier, the interventions used in a classroom to be done more often in a classroom setting, to kind of engage the child. And then, and it's also important to assess the level of belonging with the child to feel inclusive and not feel isolated. And then also, another thing is involving the family, because when you're working with children, family is a big part of it too. You don't want to leave them out of it. You want to be able to involve them and see what their thoughts and their ideas are to be able to help their child with their self-esteem as well. And that would be all. Any questions or any comments?
I had a question. I'm a therapist. I don't really work with children. So how can other therapists who work with adults use some Adlerian techniques?
Okay, so I think we went over some interventions, and one of the interventions that we went over, especially like with play therapy, is very common. But one of the interventions that we went over is adventure-based therapy, where you're not bound to the classroom setting, but you can actually take the child. You can take a group of children to an excursion, where you can actually encourage them to be a part of the group, and and help them be inclusive in the setting, because in the classroom you might. 2 minutes, okay. Sorry. Because in a classroom, you might have a child who is just sitting somewhere and they're just not, they're not listening, or they're just in their own world. But that encouraged them to be a part of something.
No, I'm saying, how would you do Adlerian techniques with adults?
Oh, with
Not
adults?
children. Yeah. not
Oh, sorry, with adults. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've done some things with adults as well, and for me, I mean, you know, kind of looking at some things, some key factors based on the information they're sharing with you. Like if they're talking about their family, some issues that is coming from their childhood. You know, like for me, I listen to when they start talking about their parents, and then that kind of gives me the idea that, wait a minute, let's table that. Tell me a little bit more about your childhood experience, you know, and that kind of dives into, you know, looking into your family system, because in Adlerian therapy they have a worksheet where they would do the family constellation with you. They will go through that whole process with you, and even actually encourage you to think about your earliest memories, you know, and that it's amazing. It's just a very powerful process, but it is a process, and it's not something that it can be done in 2 or 3 sessions. You have to be willing to go through that process to, you know, to feel empowered. I hope that answered your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wondered about adults. 'Cause I was
The children, yeah. Any questions? Hi.
Are there any other techniques maybe that you didn't have the chance to mention?
You know,
That would go along with this approach? Sounds like you've studied it a lot and you've used it a lot. Anything else?
you know, it's funny because there are quite a number of techniques out there. And another technique that I didn't include is doing the earlier recollection with the child. And you know, and I think, well, they do have a worksheet for adults and children, because with children, you know, it said at the age of 7 your personality is already formed. So so doing something that kind of like, you know, they can think about what they remember and how it's affecting them up to that point. You know, that kind of helps them. That kind of helps them with that process. So.
I know it's hard to give an overview
I
and do
know.
justice to this huge topic.
Exactly, in a short, exactly. Any questions? Sorry. Thank you.